Hey, what's up, everyone? And a massive welcome back to Learning ConvoCraft.
Hey there. Good to be jumping into another topic.
Yeah, and today we're diving into something I think, well, everyone struggles with at some point. How to actually remember the new things you learn.
Oh, yeah. Like new English words or, any new skill or piece of info.
Exactly. We're talking about effective, real learning methods here. Because it's so common, right? You study, you really put the hours in, and then poof.
It's gone. Just evaporates. It's maddening.
Totally. And there's that crazy statistic, isn't there? Like you forget most of it almost immediately.
That's the one. Within just 24 hours, we can apparently forget nearly 70% of new information. 70%.
Wow. Okay, so if forgetting is that common, how on earth do people, like, say, Japanese students, manage to memorize thousands, literally thousands of kanji characters and actually remember them?
Right. That's the big question. It makes you wonder if there's some kind of, secret method.
Is it just grinding harder?
Yeah.
Or is there something else going on?
Well, here's the hint. It's usually not about working harder. It's about working smarter. There are specific ways to approach learning.
Okay, I'm intrigued. Smarter, not harder. I like the sound of that.
So today we're going to unpack 5, let's call them hack science-backed techniques, many used instinctively or explicitly in systems like Japanese education to really master learning efficiently.
Nice. And without needing like endless hours chained to a desk.
Hopefully. The idea is efficiency. So grab something to jot notes on, maybe speak along with us on any new words you hear. Let's get into it.
All right, hack number 1. What do you got for us?
Okay, first up, active recall. I sometimes call this the samurai approach to memory.
Ooh, sounds intense. Active recall. What's the core idea?
Well, think about how most people study. Lots of input, right? Reading textbooks, watching videos, highlighting notes.
Guilty as charged. Lots of highlighting here.
Yeah, me too sometimes. But active recall flips that. It focuses on output, getting information out of your brain, not just putting it in.
Okay, so instead of just reading, I should be, testing myself?
Exactly. It's like training a muscle. Reading about weightlifting doesn't build muscle. You have to do the lifting. Memory works the same way. It strengthens when you actively try to retrieve information from it.
So that feeling of struggling to remember something?
Yeah.
That's actually the workout.
Precisely. That struggle isn't failure. It's your brain forging stronger connections. It's saying, okay, this info is needed. Got to make it easier to find next time.
That's a huge mindset shift. So practically, how do I do active recall?
It's simple, but maybe a bit uncomfortable at first. After you learn something, maybe a chapter, some vocabulary, close the book, put away the notes, then grab a totally blank sheet of paper.
Uh-oh, the blank sheet of doom.
It can feel like that. But just try to write down or even say out loud everything you can remember about that topic. Don't peek.
Even if I only remember, like, 2 things.
Even if it's just 2 things. The effort of trying to pull it out is what counts. It highlights what you do know and, crucially, what you don't. Then you can go back and check.
Okay. It makes sense. It's more engaged than just passively reading my highlights over and over.
Way more engaged. There's this tendency, maybe more in some Western study habits, to just cram everything in last minute. This active recall is more like cultivating knowledge, building it piece by piece.
Cultivating knowledge. I like that. Okay, active recall, powerful stuff. What's hack number 2?
Hack number 2 builds on this idea of steady work. It's inspired by the Kumon method. Think of it as learning in small, powerful steps. Bite-sized learning every day.
Kumon, I think I've heard of that. Little workbooks, right? Repetitive practice.
Sort of, yeah. The core principle we're borrowing is breaking down subjects into really small, manageable steps. You master one tiny piece before moving to the next.
So instead of trying to swallow a whole chapter, I focus on just one concept, or maybe learn just 5 new words really well.
Exactly. You do these small chunks consistently, maybe daily. This gradual reinforcement makes the concepts almost second nature. They really stick.
It sounds less overwhelming for sure.
It is. And it ties into that idea from James Clear's book, Atomic Habits.
Yeah.
The power of 1% improvement.
Oh yeah, that tiny improvements stack up over time.
Precisely. Getting just 1% better each day leads to exponential growth. The Kumon approach embodies that small, consistent effort compounding into remarkable results.
So it's not just about memory. It's about building understanding and habits without, burning out.
Absolutely. Stronger recall, deeper understanding, and sustainable lifelong learning habits. Master a little bit each day instead of that frantic, stressful cramming.
No more all-nighters fueled by caffeine. Sign me up.
Yeah.
Okay, small steps, consistency. What's number 3?
Number 3 is another clever timing trick, spaced repetition. I like to call this the gardening technique for your brain.
Gardening. Okay, how does that work?
Imagine you plant a seed that's your new piece of information. You need to water it, right? But you don't drown it on day 1 and then ignore it.
Right, you water it periodically.
Exactly. Spaced repetition is like watering your memory just before it starts to dry out, just before you forget the information.
Timing it just right. So how do I know when to water my memory garden?
The idea is to review the information at increasing intervals. So you learn something new today, you might review it quickly tomorrow, maybe 24 hours later.
Okay.
If you remember it well, you then wait longer for the next review, maybe 3 days later, then maybe a week, then a month. The gaps get bigger.
So the better I remember it, the less often I need to review it.
Precisely. Each successful review tells your brain, hey, this is important, keep it accessible. And it strengthens the memory trace, making it last longer. It becomes more resistant to forgetting.
That sounds way more efficient than just randomly looking over notes whenever I feel like it.
It is. Many successful learners, including those Japanese students we mentioned, use systematic review schedules. They don't wait until the exam is looming to frantically relearn everything. They keep the knowledge fresh.
The key is reviewing just before you'd normally forget, catching it right on the edge.
That's the sweet spot. It interrupts the forgetting curve and pushes the memory further into the future.
Okay, active recall. Small steps like Kumon, spaced repetition. I'm seeing a theme of being strategic. What's number 4?
Number 4 is Kaizen. This is a Japanese philosophy that basically means continuous improvement.
Kaizen. Wasn't that originally about, like, business processes?
It was, yeah, improving efficiency on production lines and stuff. But the principle applies perfectly to learning. It's about making small, consistent improvements every single day.
So, similar to the Kumon idea of small steps, but maybe broader, like a general mindset.
Exactly. It reinforces the idea of ditching the last-minute cramming mentality and focusing instead on tiny daily progress. That 1% better each day idea again.
Even 1% seems so small, but you're saying it adds up significantly.
Massively. Think about it. 1% improvement daily doesn't feel stressful. It avoids burnout. But over a month, over a year, the progress is huge. It leads to steady, sustainable mastery without the panic.
Okay, give me a concrete example. How does Kaizen look in practice for learning?
It can be super simple. Maybe you commit to just say 2 minutes of active recall on yesterday's topic, then 2 minutes of spaced repetition for something you learned last week, then maybe 2 minutes previewing tomorrow's topic.
So that's, what, 6 minutes total?
Just 6 minutes, seriously, less time than scrolling through social media feeds.
Oh, okay. That's definitely achievable.
And imagine the impact of that focused 6 minutes every day for a month. You'd likely be around 30% better just from those tiny, consistent efforts.
That really reframes it. Small, consistent actions.
Yeah.
Kaizen. Got it. Okay, what's the 5th and final hack?
Our last one is maybe a bit different. It's called Shuhari. And this one is about mastering your focus, getting into the Zen zone of learning.
Shuhari. Sounds interesting. So this isn't just a technique. It's more about mindset.
Exactly. Mastering learning isn't just about the how. It's also about your mental state, your ability to concentrate deeply. Shuhari is actually a concept from Japanese martial arts describing stages of mastery. We're focusing on the spirit of Shu. Deeply focusing, following the fundamentals.
Okay, deep focus. We all know that's important, but it's hard to achieve sometimes. How does Shuhari help?
One practical way is by creating rituals around your learning. Consistent actions that signal to your brain, okay, pay attention, it's learning time now.
Rituals. Like what?
Could be anything that works for you. Always studying in the same quiet place, putting your phone in another room, that's a big one.
Definitely. The phone is lethal for focus.
Totally. Or maybe using the same specific pen just for studying. Some people even light a particular candle or play specific background music very softly.
So these little routines kind of prime the brain. They act as cues.
Precisely. They create associations. When you perform your ritual, your brain starts to shift gears into focus mode more easily. It tags these learning moments as important, which can actually help with retention too.
It's like setting the stage for your brain to perform well, creating the right environment, both physically and mentally.
You got it. It's about intentionally creating that space for deep concentration.
That makes a ton of sense. You know,
Yeah.
you put it all together. Active recall, Kumon's small steps, space repetition, Kaizen's daily 1%, and Shuhari's focus rituals. It paints a picture of learning that's much more intentional.
And sustainable. Think about anything you've ever gotten really good at a sport, a video game, playing an instrument. You didn't
Yeah.
just absorb it instantly, right? You practiced, you failed sometimes, you made adjustments, you got a little better each time. It involved all these elements: active doing, repetition, focus, consistent small improvements.
That's true. You practice scales, you run drills, you focus during the game. It's the same principles.
Exactly. Real learning works the same way. It doesn't have to be this awful struggle against forgetting all the time. It can be smart, efficient, and honestly, way easier when you use the right approach.
Wow. Okay, this has been incredibly insightful. So for everyone listening right now,
Yeah.
you've heard the hacks.
Now comes the important part. You've basically got a choice, right? You can go back to the old ways, maybe cramming, feeling frustrated when things don't stick.
Or you can start using these methods, starting today.
And let's be real for a second. The top learners, the top 1% who really make progress, they don't just listen to ideas like this. They do something about it.
Yeah. Information is great, but action is where the change happens. So the question we have for you is, will you take action?
We want to challenge you. Pick just one of these 5 techniques: active recall, small steps, spaced repetition, Kaizen, or a focus ritual. Just one.
And try it out today if possible. Give it a real shot with something you're learning right now.
Then, and this is important, come back here and tell us about it. Drop a comment below. Which hack did you try? How did it feel? Did it work for you?
We genuinely want to know. Your experience might help someone else too.
Absolutely. And hey, if you found this useful and you want more tips on learning smarter, being more productive, achieving your goals, you know what to do.
Make sure you subscribe to Learning ConvoCraft so you don't miss out.
Remember, change your life one tiny step at a time.
That's the easy way, actually. Thanks so much for tuning in, everyone. Catch you in the next one.